it took on my nerves. I've been re-recording this many times. Hopefully this is the last one. Will be. Alright.
Hi YouTube, my name is Veronica and this is my knitting podcast, All Yarns Considered. Welcome! Ta-da! I'm coming to you on a November morning from Ottawa, Canada. And I've been thinking about making this podcast for a very long time. And finally, I've gathered my courage to record something today. So this is very nerve-wracking and I am nervous. So apologies if I say something weird or if my words don't make sense. I tend to mumble on occasion, so don't be too harsh. The reason why I'm doing this is that I've started knitting in May of 2020 in the pandemic, like a lot of people did, I believe. And I found knitting an extremely therapeutic and self-soothing hobby. And I've been watching a lot of knitting podcasts, such as Knitting Tradition, Inga, and Nicole, the Gentle Knitter, which is a local knitter on YouTube. And I love seeing them and learning from them and just listening about their lives and what they're doing and how they're knitting and what they're knitting on and so on and so forth. And Inga has been raving so much about the knitting community and been encouraging people that are into this hobby to start a knitting podcast. So I thought, why not? And another reason why I'm starting this is because I'm not surrounded with knitters, and I believe I've quite saturated my friends and family with my knitting talk. And if you're not a knitter, you might not be interested in listening about it all the time. And I feel like I've been talking a lot about my knitting. So I'm hoping that I can connect with a community that understands the joy of knitting, and I'm looking forward to learning more about it. I'm looking forward to sharing my projects and my whips and my hopes and my dreams about the knitting. So don't judge harshly. I'm here to connect. I hope I can hear some good feedback. We'll see. All right, so enough about that. I think I'm gonna get into the whole meat of it, just because that's why we're here for, right? All right, so I specifically have worn something today that I've knitted. To give you an example, this is probably one of my first knits. This is a pattern-free pattern from We Are Knitters. I believe you just have to sign up for their newsletter and you get free patterns. And this is one of their free pattern of a simple raglan sweater. I quite like it. I tend to wear it quite a bit. It is one of my house sweaters, and yeah, I quite like it. I really like the color of it. The yarn is from the company Hobie. I've tried it only once. I've had good experience with them, but I haven't reordered again from them. I think I will do it later or again sometime. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, it's just a good experience. It's all 100% wool. And yeah, it's a simple stockinette project. I started my knitting with bulky yarns because I started looking on Instagram and, you know, on accounts such as We Are Knitters and Knitting Daily and such. And most of the knits at that time were all bulky, chunky sweaters type thing. So that's what I was going for. And this is probably one of my first attempt at a bulky, oversized sweater. I quite like it. Now, lessons learned. I would have made the neck longer. I think I would have made it probably twice as long, maybe even longer, probably about to here if you were to unfold it. And then I would have folded back down, and I think I would have had a little bit more room. So I still do this from time to time. I feel like I have a little bit more room around my neck, and this is a soft sweater, but it is wool, and wool will be scratchy sometimes, and I find this over time is scratchy, and this gives me more air around it. But looks wise, design fashion wise, I like this better. I find it's a better look.
I like this look. It makes my, I don't know, my face slimmer or something. Oh, I don't know.
Overall, I think I would have made it slightly longer, but not too much. Maybe the ribbing would have been longer, twice as long, but overall is good. The reason why it's in my house sweater is because I find this wool really peels. You can tell it's very peely, and I've been actually cleaning it up quite a bit, but every time I look, it's another part that I have to take out. So I'm hoping that maybe with time the peeling will stop as much, or it's not going to peel as much. But yeah, as you can tell, I've I've actually made my sleeves shorter than they were, and then I tried it on and I found that the sleeves are very short. So then I literally picked up more like the stitches, and I just made twice as much of ribbing. Again, this was like my first raglan sweater, so don't judge too harshly. But if you don't tell anyone, no one notices. I'm just gonna do this and no one knows. But overall, it's very warm. It's very easy to wear. I was very surprised how easy it was to knit on, because this was my first raglan sweater and I didn't know that it could be so easy. And after that, I fell in love with this technique and I knitted some more. I will show you later. But this is what I'm wearing. All right, so I'll show you two of my finished projects, recent finished projects. I will always try and show you some stuff that I've already knitted. Hopefully you'll like that. We'll see. All right, so first I'll show you an infinity scarf that I've recently knitted. This is a Malabrigio yarn. The color is Sunset, and is probably one of the most soft and luxurious yarns I've ever worked on. This was a gift for me last October, and I didn't know what to do with, I had just one skein and I didn't know for the longest time what to do. I really like the color. I feel like it's translating quite well here. Yeah, so I had just one skein, and silly, inexperienced Veronica, I started doing some socks. But then one, I didn't have the right needles. I find socks require some very small needles, and at the time I didn't have them. And then second, this is too luxurious, in my personal opinion, of a yarn to go on your feet. Maybe I'm wrong. Please correct me if I am. So I started with like a pair of socks, didn't work out. I ripped it all apart. And then I was just like, you know what? The yarn is so beautiful itself. So I will just make an infinity scarf in a just pearl way, and it was very easy to knit on. I had a lot of pleasure, and this is probably one of the most worn items in my household. Everybody wears it. Sometimes we fight over it, but it's thin enough that you can put under any coat or jacket, thick enough that it's warm, and it's beautiful and soft on your skin. So I'm very happy with it, and if I have the chance, I will buy more of this. It is not the cheapest yarn, and that's probably why I've been hesitating to buy more. But if anyone is looking for a scarf yarn, this is it. It's pretty awesome. So I will link all of this. There's no pattern to this. I literally just knit it in round. That's all I've done, and it's quite successful. I really liked it. Anyway, so this was that. On to the next one. This is again a free pattern from Espace Tricot. It's called Monsieur's. I'm not a French speaking person, so apologies for my pronunciation. I try my best. It's a yoke style sweater. Simple, not much to it. I will insert, what can I say, my first look I've how got I wear it type thing. An aunt that lives in Italy. So she is the knitter in the family, and we talk very often about our projects and what we're doing and such. So she was so kind to send me some yarn from Italy. However, it came like this. And for a beginner knitter that started knitting in pandemic, I didn't know anything about cone yarn. My limited experiences hasn't shown me cone yarn in general. I didn't see it in stores, but mind you, I didn't really go to many stores during the pandemic, so I didn't know that cone yarn even existed. My understanding that cone yarn comes from factories that make garments, and these are leftovers from these factories, and then they sell it to retailers for them to sell to knitters. So from my understanding, Europe is quite common to find these, but I haven't seen them in well, at least in Ottawa, Canada, I haven't seen them like this. So she sends me this, and it is a mohair, but I don't know much about it at all, because my understanding is that these factories are winding this yarn on any available cones like this. So the cone itself might not be what the yarn is about. So I have no information. I just know that it's a mohair and the color is awesome. So I was looking for a project that can, give me a chance to use this yarn. So you can tell the strand is quite thin. So I was looking for something that I can knit in one strand or two strands. Therefore, my yoke sweater. This is not what I've intended. What I've intended was more of a wider neck, something that I can wear on one shoulder with poofy arms, cropped, maybe with a slip dress.
Kind of early, fall, I don't know, get together or something. I don't know. It's pandemic. I didn't go anywhere.
So this, I started this pattern, and I've started knitting in two strands. So I just double it all up, and I just did that. I can say that I really liked knitting on mohair. I find it scratched. You know how you have the scratchy feeling on a chalkboard or I just kind of found it like slightly reminding me of that, and I was not really a big fan of knitting on it. So yeah, I've started it, and I've quickly realized that this is not something that I'm envisioning. So I lost interest in it midway, and it took me a while to finish it. Finally, I did, because I just need to finish things. But one arm is poofier than the other, because again, I kind of lost interest and I stopped counting my increases. And I found it that it's not a see-through that I wanted. So lessons learned, I like the pattern. I probably would make a wider neck. I would knit it in one strand and maybe a bigger needle size. This was a 7 size, the size 7 of the needles. I would make it cropped, and obviously I would keep track of my increases on both hands. But again, if you don't tell anyone, people don't notice. It's an I-cord finish. This was my first time finishing with an I-cord, and I quite like it. I find it shows a very nice finish line, you know? But so far, I don't think this is something that I would wear. And I hate this, because I do want to knit things and then wear them. However, I do think that this is a very cool looking sweater, and it might be a cool Christmas gift, given that we're in November and Christmas is approaching. So I thought I'll keep it and maybe gift it to someone that it's, I'll have to see for color-wise who might like something like that. Oh, and also you will see in my showcase there that I blocked it, but it's still wrinkly. So maybe you can give me some pointers. Maybe I'm blocking things wrong, but I find it very wrinkly and I can't get rid of the wrinkles. But that's that. All right, so let's go on to my whips. All right, this is something I am quite excited about. I've purchased the pattern from Petite Knit, the champagne cardigan. I don't own a lot of cardigans, which is a great opportunity for me to knit, so yay. And I've had good experiences with her patterns. Probably that's why she's so, popular and so successful, because I think she has the way of, writing a pattern, plus her patterns are very timeless, beautiful, simple. So I purchased that pattern and I'm knitting on it. Again, I got some cone yarn. It looks like this. I've already rewinded from the cone to make it easier. And because the strand is again thin, I needed to do it, in 2 strands for that specific cardigan and to obtain gauge. And I think it's such a pretty color. I would say it's greener, maybe because of my my sweater, it's bluer. Oh, this is actually pretty good, pretty accurate. I find it's a very beautiful color. I really like it. It's kind of like this tweedy looking yarn. It has a little bit of pink actually in it. I quite like it. Again, I don't really know what it is. I think it's wool, but I can't tell you the exact composition of it. So I got this, and I thought to make it fluffy and comfortable, I had some ta-da, white mohair. And you can tell, well, it's just white, like pure white mohair. It's the same as my other one, like this. It's a lot of mohair. I mean, I don't know how much you paid for these, but these are awesome because I already made a sweater out of this and it was probably the same size as this. And you can tell I didn't really dent it much. So I think I can really do some projects with this. So anyway, I've paired this yarn with the white mohair. And this is what I'm getting. Ta-da. All right. This is how much I have so far. So I've basically done the yoke. And now I'm just going to knit the body and the sleeves. So if you want, the harder parts are done, although it depends what you like. I still have to do the edging, but I'm in love. I love the fabric that it creates. I really like the colors, and I find with this type of cardigan, it can go with anything. It can go with your whitewashed jeans, or it can go with like a black dress or skirt, or you can pair with something brown too, like leather boots maybe. Ooh, how cool would that be? So I really like that. I'm quite excited and I've been working on it. I think this is 3 days worth of knitting. I mean, it's a lot of knitting. I was quite obsessive about it just because it's a new project. But I really like it. I find I haven't made any mistakes yet. I anticipate that I will have them, but so far it's been quite good. And as I said, I am working it in, oh, this is gonna be.
I want to do this. Oh no. We're good. Boom, there.
So, yeah, it's 2 strands of the wool yarn and 1 strand of the mohair. And I'm excited, as you can tell. So this is my whip. That's mainly what I've been knitting on while watching TV. Now, because Christmas is coming, I've been trying to work on some Christmas gifts. And here's some conundrums that hopefully maybe you can help me with, you as the community. Okay, give me a
second. I'll have a sip. Now I understand why all the knitters are having something to drink, because talking so much to yourself for 20 minutes gets your, wanting some liquids. All right.
So, from, again, being a beginner knitter, I didn't really know much. So I was buying yarn based on how pretty it was. So I bought these 2 yarns. These are from All Yarns Created Equal, a Canadian company. I will link everything below. And I found them so beautiful and beautiful to the touch. And I've made a couple of cowls, including Inga's Knitting Tradition zigzag cowl. You can find that on my Ravelry. But I had some yarn left over and I was like, what can I make out of that? So I started thinking maybe I could make some hand warmers that I could just wear, right? Like this. So I started doing that. However, I don't like the fabric. I find that it's not something I like, nor it's something that I would wear. And I feel like this type of yarn would be beautiful if you were to contrast it with a white yarn in some sort of brioche, you know. So I stopped. As you can tell, I kind of like knitted this much and then I stopped. This was a pattern from Coco Knits. It was just simple hand warmer with a thumb. But I stopped midway because I just wanted differently. And so, for example, I've done the zigzag cowl and that was beautiful. Like I like the combination of the white and the green. And I find that this yarn kind of is showcased in that pattern. By itself, I don't particularly like it. Maybe I'm weird like that. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna be sorry for being weird. This is what it is. So then I had the kind of more not taupey, like more of a creamy color. And again, I started it to like do that. But then this is everything I have left from that yarn. And I don't think I can do 2 hand warmers with this. So then I stopped this one too. So if you have any ideas of what I can do with this much yarn, I'm thinking maybe like a hat, but I don't even know if I'll have enough for a hat either. Maybe something paired with it. I don't know, but I find it's a beautiful like speckled yarn. I quite like it. It's just I feel like it needs something different. I was thinking, you know, what do I usually wear in the winter? And I have my winter jacket, which is kind of like a green, like a forest green, and these don't really work with this. So I was like, I already have a pair of socks in this, which I really like. So I didn't want to do socks again. So I don't know, maybe a hat? We'll see, maybe a neck warmer again? Anyway, if you have any ideas, I'm open, so please give me a shout. So that's that for today. I feel like this is the first episode and people don't really care for the first episodes. It's more of an introduction.
So I'll try to record this more often. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. Yeah, I'm looking forward to connecting with people that are like-minded, are into this hobby. And yeah, I'm quite excited, although very nervous. This is something that I'm sure people struggle with, to put yourself out there on YouTube. But again, I've heard only good things from the community, so we'll see how that will go. This is it for today. Next week I'll record again, hopefully with more information, and yeah. Yay, YouTube! First episode! Alright.